down to this happy games chance of 10. And the games champion, but here she is back on the floor. Her first appearance, Christina Lividakis. Heat number 1 is off, as they'll start with 40 cals on the Echo bike. And we ended last night's competition on the Concept 2 bike. What's the difference of feel between that and coming in here?
The difference is pretty dramatic, Chase, in regards to the stimulus that they're experiencing right now. Now, on the latter part of this event, it will be very similar. That C2 bike, they really got off to a very aggressive start, and it was legs only. It's a legs only erg. This erg has a unique stimulus on your entire body. It's global. It's your heart, it's your lungs, it's your arms, it's your legs. It hurts everywhere. That C2 yesterday is more specific and local to the legs, where you get a nasty burn. It gets you out of breath, but it's not nearly the same as this Echo bike. So we're an overly paced bike attack from these women because they're trying to set themselves up for success later in the event. If they go too fast too soon, that's a really, really bad move for the way this plays out.
We were speaking to Adrian Bosman earlier this morning, and he wasn't shying away from it at all, but the crux of this particular event is those 30 parallel handstand push-ups.
They are high-level achievers upside down, which means inverted with these parallettes that are looming at that turnaround point of this event. They will have the freedom to go a little bit more aggressive on the bike early because they know they can still execute under fatigue. Women who are expecting...
Left Mariana Meza out of Mexico. Her first appearance here at the CrossFit Games. No stranger to elite competition in the qualifying stages, as she actually qualified out of the Far East Throwdown.
Yeah, and you see her there just kind of chipping away at the calories. Good forward lean. The trick to saving energy on this Echo bike is to get your center of mass as much as you can right over the middle of those pedals, and she did just that. Very efficient on the opening 40 cals.
Meza's off the bike, but Sungyeon Choi to her left is onto the yoke first. 385 pounds total. That yoke itself weighs 245 pounds. It's a 100-foot walk. I don't want to say a 385-foot yoke or pound yoke is a minor inconvenience, but it's still not very light for these athletes, even though it's the 30 handstand push-ups that we are about to see that will be the game changer in this event. Meza slowing a bit and allowing 2 athletes to pass her. You have Emily DeRoy and Cindy Mikulishin.
This is where we realize they do have the freedom to move them wider to adjust. Their head has to be sure to touch the pad at the bottom. Ooh. They've got a reach lockout at the top. And what we saw over there from Choi at the top is her legs have to come together and show lockout at the top. So that was a no-rip.
Now the legs can splay out on the way up the shoulders as Meza kicks up for her. What looks like to be her second rep. You see the counters in the back of the lane. The number to get to is 30 as we are past the 4-minute mark. The time cap's 15. So there's a lot of time to give these athletes an opportunity to get through this event entirely.
That's right. We talked about the recipe to success being core to extremity. What we were talking about when we said that is that they're going to bend at the knee, and then the more accurate they can be with the driving of their legs upward, the more success and less energy they will waste there by Lividakis. We talked about the legs going out there, and Choi is utilizing that to her advantage right now. She's trying to kick hard to pull them back in as you reach lockout at the top. I love what we're seeing from Lividakis as she keeps everything in a straight line, using her body as one unit to kick to the top.
Just past the 5-minute mark. Lividakis kicking up. If you look at the top of your screen, that designates the number of reps they are currently on in total. The number to get to is 9.
Chase, you'll notice Meza really arching pretty aggressively at her neck every time she kips up. What she's trying to do is beg for strength from her chest muscle. She's trying to get out of that in-line or inverted position and almost treat it more like a horizontal press. We do this when we're toward...
I spoke earlier, the number to get to is 80. As the women had 40 cals on the bike, the men will do 50. So Lividakis is 11 reps away from completing. Make that 9 reps. Or with that extreme deficit, you're going to have a couple of those in there, and it could be you just kick down. Is a big part of this with so much range of motion.
That's right. There's so much of that balance, coordination, accuracy, and agility that's a part of this that it's a very athletic movement, right? And that knows that shook out her triceps, and she was right back for some high-quality repetitions to follow.
Your leader on the left side of your green. And on the right, you can see Syria Meja and Maria Quintero. They're in the top 4 in this heat. This is heat 1 of 3 for event number 8. 300 points up for grabs today. We are crowning champions here on Championship Sunday. Five more reps to go. Make that 4 for Lividakis.
Big fan of what we're seeing from Lividakis right now. High-level self-awareness. She's literally down to singles, but they're smooth. She's trying to minimize her rest time. She kicks back up. Her reps are staying sharp. We're starting to notice a little bit of a sticking point as we reach lockout, so the rep does slow. Oh, here we go. A double. She was feeling good on that one, and that was a mistake.
Still has about a 8-rep lead. If you look at the numbers, the number we're trying to get to is 80 at the top of your screen as we're approaching the 8-minute mark. The numbers to the right of your leader in yellow box is the number of reps they are behind. One final rep. And now we're back to the yoke. Now athletes have to touch that pad because of the offsets of the handstand push-ups, and that just makes the amount of ground they need to cover even across every lane. 100 feet across. And the Echo bike is waiting. And it is a 40 cal finish, which is not awesome.
That at least has to provide some semblance of relief going into these 40 calories in which Lividakis knows it's time to go dark.
Yeah, this is the kind of loneliness I want. What I don't want is everybody on the finish mat watching me bike alone by my... Caroline Prevost is at 25 of her 30 handstand push-ups as she is holding on to second place, as Lividakis on the left is just extending her lead dramatically. So we're slowly approaching the 10-minute mark. Now keep in mind, the time cap's 15. So these athletes that were not even on the bike have to finish their handstand push-ups, walk the yoke, and then try to race the time cap on the bike.
Which also won't feel great, but this has to build some urgency for Lividakis. She's got to consider, one, the other 2 heats that are watching her execute this entire workout are going to be aiming for her time to beat as a rookie. Is that something that's even going through her mind as she gets close to this halfway point on Go Dark? She's got to start to have that urgency. Whatever she has physically in her body, she's got to start to put into that bike right now.
Lesson. We have our new challenger coming off the rig, and it is Caroline Prevost, followed by Emily DeRoy, Cindy McAlishan, and DeRoy, as Lividakis is 10.
Amount of strength and power to help her push the pedals and push the arm straps there.
2 final cals. She's got to get off the bike, and I say sprint to the finish line, but good luck after blasting your legs on the Echo bike. 52.
Really love Caroline Prevost's position here on the bike. That forward lean minimizes the distance that her arms have to lock out, and so
it's just to her left.
You notice subtle advantages here, even in posture. DeRoy being
digital screen where McAlishan doesn't. DeRoy's got to Less than 3 cows to go. She's pulled ahead of Prevo and Mikulishin. And DeRoy will be in.
What a finish. And how about when you write up a test like this, though? You know, you're sitting behind the program design, whether it's noted, it makes it diabolical. That's what it does.
We got a 3-athlete race. The Syrian Meha will be in. Luisa Marquez. Both qualified out of Copa Sur this year. As Christina Livdidakis will set the time to beat at 12 minutes, 0.52. Sets the time to beat, the only athlete underneath 13 minutes. Almost broke that 12. This is her final day at the CrossFit Games. Sydney Wells looks on. 40 cows on the Echo bike to start. The time to beat, set in the previous heat, 12 minutes flat.
We got some different strategies already coming to play. We see Abby Domit there going pretty hard on this opening pace right there in lane 4 to the left of Haley Adams. Haley more composed, steady. Abby coming out. Folks, if you just focus right on their hands or their feet, you can notice the difference in the RPMs. Of course, we don't get a direct dial on speed, but it's a really strong precursor on the speed that they're holding just by looking at how fast those hands go in and out.
Also looking like a science experiment when we're talking about conducting electricity with the hairs flying everywhere. Christina Livdidakis takes the time to beat in heat number 1. Her time was 2:46 off the bike, as you see Brooke Wells. A lot of emotions coming into this weekend. Obviously, we said it is her 10th CrossFit Games. Seen several athletes over the years. Noah Olson being one of those athletes that in his 10th game had talked about it being his last appearance.
Yeah, and when you make that kind of announcement, you just wonder how you subdue the emotions coming into what you know is going to be your final day here at the CrossFit Games.
Lydia Fish, one of those rookies who's having a fantastic rookie debut. You see Haley Adams. Haley Adams will be an interesting one in this particular event. She's one of those athletes that can grind through those things, as Abby Domit is leading the field with 5 cows left to go. Just past the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, Gracie Walton just a few calories behind her. We also noticed her pace was quite aggressive, right in that opening surge on the bike.
Domit is done. 30 seconds ahead of the pace set by Christina Livdidakis.
And now, Chase, what we saw here was the first person off the bike into the yoke. Didn't fare so well in heat 1. So we'll see if these ladies are getting off push-ups or not.
100 feet across the floor, and Domit will take a break. That yoke weighs 385 pounds. As Gracie Walton is now matched up with Abby Domit, who did not have the event that we thought she would last night with the burpee box jump overs. Usually she does so well. Abby Domit right up. We saw a lot of athletes in heat 1 finish and then take a big break before they started. As Domit is doing
Singles, we might see it the entire way, Chase. She wants to keep her movement sharp. And therefore, so Brooke just got a no rep, and it was because her feet were outside of her hands as she reached lockout. She's got to be sure to extend at the hip.
Saw earlier her sister, Sydney Wells, who's down on the floor with Mike Arsenault.
Well, thank you very much, Chase. Sydney, I'm sure this is a very bittersweet day for the Wells family. And even though this is the end of the road for Brooke, I'd like you to take us back to the beginning. How did your family first get into the sport?
I feel like it's more than just a workout. It's what we do, and it brings our family together. Like, they come to every single event, and so it's just a way for us to all hang out, support each other. It's been amazing.
Now, I'm sure there's no one on the planet more in tune with what your sister's thinking than you yourself. So as we approach the final day of her competitive CrossFit career, what has been going through her mind all week long, last night and into this morning?
She's just really excited to end on a really good note. She seems to be a lot more relaxed and chill and just more focused on soaking it all in.
Now, although the chapter is closing on Brooks, CrossFit career.
Still just getting started, and I'm excited to keep training hard, and I hope to be back here next year, and I plan on competing for a while.
Sydney, thanks for your time today, and good luck with the rest of your career.
Thank you.
Brooke Wells, 2 reps behind the leader. That leader is Alexis Raptis. Now, if you remember Alexis Raptis, her very first win at the CrossFit Games came in her rookie year, and that was with Echo Press that had Echo Bike Cals and wall-facing deficit handstand push-ups as Raptis is 10 reps away.
Yeah, and that was great communication, even by the judge, the athlete. She showed understanding. She simply pulled her feet away from the wall too early to kick down before she got the lockout there. So great adjustment by Alexis, staying with singles here as we see most of the field has now gotten down to singles, where that was their initial choice or not. And more often than not, athletes at home can take this as a note. Breaking things up early and often is going to be a huge advantage for you not to reach muscle failure and not to stand around. We don't want dead time. These athletes are putting on a show for that.
Moved into, we really got almost a 4-way tie in the last 5 reps between Gracie Walton, Alexis Raptis, next Lexi Neely, and Brooke Wells.
And this is what's setting Gracie apart here. She's still willing and able to do multiple reps at once.
Brooke taking a quick break. As the number to get to is 80, as Raptis has 3 reps left to go. Now off the wall first is Lexi Neely, and if that name sounds familiar when we're talking handstand push-up, last year in Fort Worth, but Gracie Walton has been a 25-foot lead on Lexi Neely.
Lexi Neely, with 8 years of competitive gymnastics in her back pocket, was going to fare well inverted. The downside is in gymnastics, you don't got to chase Gracie Walton on an Echo Bike, Chase.
We talked about Grace. Her event win came in Firestorm. That had more to do with how hard can you push an Echo Bike. And Gracie Walton is doing just that. We are past the 8-minute mark. Gracie Walton's first 40 cal split was 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Lexi Neely's was 2:44, so we already know she can push the bike a bit faster. The time to beat's 12 minutes, but that will not stand as Gracie Walton is just cranking on this Echo Bike, nearing the halfway point.
Yeah, you'll notice she's starting to even create greater separation between her and Neely at this point. She'll be able to back off her pace just a little bit here. Great strategy there to kind of break the rope of hope by the other competitors as she got on and got to such an aggressive pace right out the gate.
Lexi Neely, Echo Bike. By the way, God bless those things for all of us.
Yes.
As Lexi Neely is hitting that halfway point, but Gracie Walton is just 7 cals away as she is digging deep, and this is what we were expecting to see on these final 40 cals.
And that is why this one got the title Going Dark. And here comes Brooke Wells coming into second place, pushing past Neely.
Walton is in and smashes the time to beat. And Lexi Neely are your top 3. Raptis got to the bike well behind the other 3, and she's fighting to get into that finish line.
Wow, what a surge by Alexis.
Raptis is in. Wells is done. Neely's off the bike and in. Yeah, that'll happen. Lydia Fish has about 10 cals left for me in the field. Dominant, one of the taller ones.
Beautifully balanced event though, right? We've got the 30 deficit high-level parallel handstand push-ups, and then it's coupled with this raw work erg that does reward size and power.
Lydia fishes in. Cap as Abby Dummett has got 4 cows remaining. Dummett is in. Adrian.
Yep.
Alexis Raptis' last bike was 1 minute and 51 seconds. Haley Adams is done.
First off the bike.
Working her through her final 2 cows. As her and Annika Greer look to be the last 2 to finish in this heat.
Annika Greer.
Look at the background. That is Hattie Canyo just getting to the yoke. So I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately, but Hattie Canyo has 2 more minutes.
And she's going to put the yoke down and understand she's still got more time to work through that time cap.
Last cow for Annika Greer. And Annika Greer making her rookie debut. Years and years. Solid spot for your debut at the CrossFit Games. Hattie Canyo has 1 minute left.
1 minute
left. Get as many cows as she can.
Let's get it.
Leave me like, stop.
We're the crowd. You almost want them to ask. You want to say nicely, please don't.
Yeah, please.
Please don't. You're going to bring out the dark side
Shut
here.
the cameras off.
I'm going to have to blow it up, and she's going to. She's finishing as strong as she can. Did we notice she literally... It really is that kind of support, though, Chase, that set from many others. We're there all the way through the last person to finish, because that's what we come for.
It is the best part in the affiliate. It's the best part. You see it at the games. That's where that gym culture comes into the competition culture. Walton smashes the previous time to beat 9th-back open champ in 25.
Continues this trend of being within the top 5.
Sunday has begun. The march to find the fittest woman on earth starts with Going Dark. Tia Claire Toomey still rocking the white and red leader jersey, is looking to hold on to her lead.
Goat in all of CrossFit. We just watched her get off to a very aggressive start. Eyes locked in on her monitor, not looking around, not looking at other competitors. She started fast, she slightly dialed back her pace, and that tells me she's got a specific intention going into this out and back again chipper where she wants to have an exact time to exit that echo bike.
End of that night, taking a 16th place, but since then, 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 2nd.
Somebody that doesn't get in their own way.
Just to her left in all pink, Lucy Campbell has contributed to a few of those places outside of first as she took 69 points behind Tia Toomey. Now the question for Lucy coming in, we talked about it all weekend long. She had her rookie year at the 2022 CrossFit Games where she also won 2 events as an individual, and then missed 2 years position. But the question she has for herself, and she told us this yesterday, is how are those handstand push-ups going to feel?
That's right, it's one of those movements, again, quite limited with her exposure. But we'll see how they fare today. And here's Kringle leading off the bike.
We've seen this all weekend. How many times have we seen Kringle jump out to an early lead in her heat?
And whether that plays out strong or not for the outcome, what that tells me is that fearless mindset of a competitor as we see these women getting to work on this yoke. That even as we talked to Adrian Bosman earlier, he was like, hey, I don't expect this to slow down any of these top women. They're fit enough, but it's going to be a problem. It's a spinal loading that really...
Burstetter. Yes, Tia Toomey sitting 3rd in this heat. 30 parallel handstand push-ups at a 10.5-inch deficit. Break, and it was a long one.
It was, and I think that's very calculated, Chase. Again, you talked about the sharpness. This core to extremity theme that we've talked about is a key point of performance in a lot of the movements that we do. Watch how sharp Tia shoots those legs up and together right as she reaches lockout. Right there, she held that lockout even longer just to make sure that her judge was able to see clearly that rep was going to count.
The number to get to, if you look at the top part of your screen, Tia-Clair Toomey says 64 reps for big sets. See, a lot of athletes have a sticking point at that lockout, and you don't see one at all for Tia-Clair Toomey.
No, you don't see that slowing in the middle for her that you do see from a lower to lockout. It makes them even more tired. So the rich get richer in a movement like this, the way Tia's executing.
Approaching the 5-minute mark. You can see the time in the upper left corner of your screen, the time to beat. On the right side of your screen is lane 10, rookie and training partner.
That's right. And you wonder how much of this really rubs off. The mindset, the mentality, the attention to detail. Lucy McGonigal showing a lot of it's paying off right now in her rookie debut here at the CrossFit Games.
Tia Toomey on the left has 3 reps remaining. And she'll be making her way back to the yoke. One more break for Tia. Lucy McGonigal, Amy Kringle are 8 reps behind as Tia is done and back to the yoke.
This yoke not a problem at all for Tia. We talk about the separation between you and all to herself as she makes her way back to the Echo bike.
No problem with the yoke. She has 3 minutes. Toomey has 43 individual CrossFit Games event wins under her belt. That is the same. I mean, you combine all those, and that's some of the same with some of the greatest we have ever seen. Matt Fraser with 5 championships, Rich Froning at 4, Annie Thorsauter and Katchen splitting 2. Just 25 cals away from her 40.
Going right on that monitor, and then look at her training partner doing exactly what she has executed at an extremely high level.
Go from 1, Lucy, as she's sitting in 10th as a rookie, making her way back to the bike. Amy Kringle.
A lot of power potential on this bike. So even though McGonigal came in with a slight lead, it's going to be Kringle that's going to be trying to run her down.
10 cals left for Tia Toomey. Make it 9. Lucy Campbell, the question was how she's going to handle these, and it's not necessarily here because Ariel Lowen, who's in 3rd, is still on the handstand push-ups. And Tia Toomey is done. 43 becomes 4. She's not the only rookie in the field in this heat. We just talked earlier about Miriam Von Rohr.
They are in her ear right now, yelling as loud as they can.
10 cals left between Kringle and McGonigal, separated by 8 lanes. The time is now. Lucy McGonigal on the right side of your screen. Youngest athlete in the field, Amy Kringle, made her Games debut last year. Can Kringle run her down? Kringle had the fastest split on the bike in the first 40. And it'll go to Kringle. McGonigal's in. Lucy Campbell is the last to the bike, and she has plenty of time to finish.
Campbell enter that bike with no hesitation into sprint pace.
Herstetter is in. Maddie Sturt's on the bike in the 4th part of your screen. Miriam Van Rohr, and then you see Lucy Campbell, who is ripping on those handles, and she needs to get as close to Ariel Lowen as she can. Has 5:41, so there is some room to spare between the don't have to as Sturt crosses the finish line.
Claw her way out, significantly getting to the bike later than these other 2 women, but she's scratching and clawing for every point to sustain that podium position.
Well, she's getting pretty close because far away to catch Lowen, but at least close the gap as much as you can, because athletes from previous heats, those times are going to matter as far as how many points Campbell gives up here.
Wow, great finish there by Miriam Von Rohr.
There's the roll you were looking for.
That's right, that's the one.
Tied.
I think Campbell's got her, Chase. Yep. Wow.
Campbell's in, and who knows how important coming in. As Tia Claire, 9 minutes at 8:51.66, fellow Australian.